have really introduced the cannabis industry to women and minorities all over the country. I want to introduce to you the visionary behind Pink Rush. This woman is a person who actually retired herself from corporate America in her mid-30s, moving on to help women and minorities and families all over the world, literally in 46 countries, to reach their dreams of entrepreneurship. She's a mom, she's a glam mom, a wife, an entrepreneur, a mentor to thousands, and my good friend from Chicago, Illinois, Melissa Boston.
Kathy, oh my goodness, we have a lot going on here, so hopefully you can see me and you can hear me. But I am super excited. I am here at the headquarters, and oh my goodness, you would think that we have elves in the house. We have different zones, and they're just packing these thousands of orders, and we're just wanting to take a break to have a little bit of empowerment today in order to really empower not only the distributors who might be a part of the movement already, but also for the guests who've been looking at cannabis, and perhaps you're kind of curious. You're wondering, is this the industry for you? And so we're excited because Pink Rush was a concept that we actually came up with back in 2018, had an idea. And of course, when you have an idea, what do you want to do? You want to act on that idea. But guess what? When I went to go purchase pinkrush.com, what I found out was someone else had already had that idea first, but they were willing to sell it for $1,700. And what's so powerful about that is something about acting at the moment in which you have it, because that one idea literally now generates millions of dollars because some of those people that came from that amazing Pink Rush event. And so I'm going to do something today that's going to really hopefully inspire everyone to know that you're at the right place at the right time. I also have some people we're going to celebrate. So we're going to have a chance to hear from them in just a moment. But I want to go ahead and just say hello, and welcome. If you're out there, let us know you're there. Just hit us up in the chat so we can actually have a chance to see. I can't see all your faces because we're in presentation mode now, but we can always see what's coming through the chat. So hello. This is our Sunday Canna Zoom, and we're going to go ahead and get the party started. We are also known as the Ladies of Cannabis, and this is a women's empowerment. But here's what I will say. If there's any guys that have sneaked on the line today, that's okay. If you look at the very word empowerment, men is inside of that word, which means you guys are a part of the backbone of really making this industry work. We salute you, but today we want to just take a second and really empower the women. There's a joke that I say often when you think about the cannabis plant. This might be something you're learning. Kathy, you can help me with the mute out, please. Thank you. Just mute out the participants who are moved up.
It won't let me do it because you're host.
Make you co-host.
Yeah.
You're gonna be a
okay.
Co-host, okay.
Thank you.
Co-hosting with me because I need my co-pilot. Where are we at? Here you go. I'll tell you because this is still up. There we go. Now you are a co-host, so you can mute out anyone out there that might have accidentally unmute yourself. So you don't want to do that because that means we're going to hear your conversation, okay? But one of the jokes that I say often is when you really take the cannabis plant and you break it down, a lot of people don't realize that the marijuana part of the plant is female, okay? The male side of the plant is hemp, okay? That's the healthy part of the plant. And so we often joke and say, hey, guess what, guys? You have to go through the female in order to get high, okay? So we should be the ones pioneering and leading this cannabis movement, and that's what we're doing today. So again, welcome. I see you all hitting the chat. Thank you so much. Good to see you all out there today. And so what we're gonna do real quick, I'm gonna share my sound for a second because we're gonna show a video. I'm gonna stop sharing for one moment, and now I'm gonna share my sound because I wanna show you just a little bit of what the Pink Rush vibe is all about for those of you who've never participated with one of our live events. So here we go. a chance to participate with us at our Pink Crush events. She came all the way in from South Carolina to our very first event. And what was really exciting about that event, it was the very first one. We didn't know how people were gonna gravitate to that event. We had, I believe, about 350 tickets. Those tickets were something like $79. And then we had another set of tickets for $59. And do you know, we sold out of tickets in less than 10 days, okay? People were gravitating towards the Pink Crush movement, and we knew that we were onto something. And so Kathy had a chance to give you a little bit of background about myself. And I wanted to say hello again and welcome to all of our guests. And one of the things I'm gonna add to what she said, I'm gonna add this picture here and this magazine of me holding Women and Weed magazine. The reason why I want to do that, because some of you are on the line tonight and you're like I was, very conservative as it relates to how I was brought up, as it relates to anything to do with the cannabis plant, okay? You might say that I was miseducated because the only thing I knew was the bad parts of the plant. So I was the VP of Students for Students Against Drinking and Driving, the DARE captain. I wasn't the person in my community where people would have said, hey, she's gonna go be the CEO of a cannabis company, okay? But I am so excited that I had a chance to get informed, to get educated. In fact, the first experience where I really had my eyes wide open was when I got a phone call and a text from someone who owned a cannabis CBD company, and he wanted me to be his CEO. And of course, initially I was a little bit closed-minded, but I always know a closed mind is one of the most expensive things you can own. And so I said, let me at least pay attention and hear what he has to say. And it was really the testimonials that sold me. See, I had been a part of the health and wellness movement. I had been a wellness author. I've actually worked for companies on the distributor side in sales who've done billions of dollars. And I was one of their top distributors where we were actually having $40+ million under development for increasing and producing products. So when I'm thinking about this plant that didn't take $40 million for him to come up with, okay? He literally started this with just an idea. And I thought, how is it that this plant could have testimonials that blew that billion-dollar company away? And that had me sold. I knew that we were onto something, and this was an industry that I had to be a part of. And so welcome to the Pink Crush. And I wanna thank Kathy because, oh my goodness, Kathy, she came on, she played some powerful music, so hopefully you were jamming on with her. And so with Pink Crush, we have our core values. And of course, we're about empowering, we're about collaborating, integrity, quality. We're about service because we want to serve our community. And so we are hopeful that those are core values that you can connect with. Some of our co-founders, let's talk about our co-founders, and you're going to hear from some of them in a little bit, but Phyllis Nash is one of the co-founders of the Pink Crush. We have Dr. Rita McGuire, one of the co-founders for Ladies for Cannabis and Pink Crush. And then of course, our very own Ladies for Cannabis, Dr. Patricia Van Pelt, who's another one of the co-founders. Now we've done these events before COVID, we were doing them live. And so we've actually had 3 events. We can't wait to get back to doing these events live again. But I'm gonna share with you some of our either upcoming keynote speakers or some of our previous keynote speakers. And one of them is our very own Dr. Natasha Gettings. She's had a chance to rock the stage at both of our Pink Crush big events. We had a mini one also where we had a reduced amount of people participate because it was a smaller venue. And then of course we have Doris Mosley, who's a hair industry icon. She is sought after all across the country. She's one of our upcoming keynote speakers. Now, many of you might not be familiar with Juanita Ramos. Juanita Ramos is a true pioneer in the cannabis space. In fact, she often works with some of the senators. She works with government. She works with big organizations. In fact, she served in the CEO capacity and top levels for cannabis companies that were doing over $50 million+ a year. And we had the pleasure of having her come and keynote our very first Pink Crush event. And so you might have a chance to hear from her again because we're gonna get all of our previous speakers back. I don't know if you've heard of the People's Dispensary, okay? The People's Dispensary, it's in the Northeast, and it's one of the African-American owned dispensaries, and she's the brainchild behind that, where there were people just like you and me, they collaborated, they put their money together to open one of the first African-American Black-owned cannabis marijuana dispensaries in the Northeast. And so she actually was at our very first event as well, and she was able to be a co-keynote with Juanita Ramos. And so today we're celebrating Tracy Bolton. We're celebrating Swana Harris. We're celebrating Kathy Weathersby and Gigi Harris. These are women who are leading the way in the cannabis space. In fact, we hope at the very next conference we can celebrate you. This was actually an idea literally that came to me last night. We were here working and some of our staff, some of our volunteers want to build their business and they felt like, hey, if we can just have some more support. And I said, hey, wait a minute, you got our support fully. What do you need? And I said, let's do an event. Let's do an event today. So can you believe all of this happened just last night and we created all of this? These are truly some of the best, amazing women you'll know. And so here's some statistics, okay? 36% of executives in the cannabis industry are women. And so tonight you're gonna have a chance to hear from women that are leading the charge. These are truly cannabosses, some of them creating six-figure residuals inside of the space. Now, why this is so important, if you look at traditional corporations, if you look at traditional Fortune 500 companies, do you know that less than 4.2% are actually top executives in traditional companies? So we know, women, that this truly is our plant. This is our industry. Let's go out and dominate. When you think about the legal cannabis market, it's projected to create over 1 million jobs by 2025. When we think about our young kids, when we think about our children, when we think about our millennial children, you know, do you know that millennials actually account for 50% of all the cannabis sales? Isn't it time for us to help them get some of the wealth, perhaps have a career in the hottest growing and fastest industry out there? And if you break it down by job sector, you know, whether it's management or retail and manufacturing, agriculture, you can see the statistics of where the jobs are going. And here in Illinois, you know, what's exciting is that industry is going to hit $1 billion. But what's not exciting is how many African Americans own a piece of that. And I'll tell you right now that they are really less than 1%. In fact, not even close to 1%, right? It's negligible. And that's really sad when you think about the war we've paid or the price we've paid for that war on drugs. And when we look at the statistics and we really break them down, you know, in fact, there was a magazine that went out and surveyed 1,500 women across North America. And the question was, what interests you most about cannabis? And if you look at the answers, 60% said skincare, 32% said jobs, 23% said sex, dining, retail. But now let's get to the reality. While all that's exciting, the reality is, yes, we have paid the price for the war on drugs. If you look here in Chicago, 86%, that's the amount of people that have actually been arrested and convicted for a marijuana possession and holding marijuana, think about that are African-American men. I mean, how unacceptable is that when we know that African-American men use it at the same rate as other cultures, but we're the ones they target. In fact, they target us at a rate at 7 times. And where did that start? Where did this start where all of a sudden marijuana and cannabis was looked at as something bad? Because do you know that prior to the fact that it was prohibited, it was actually used in medicine? Do you know that former presidents grew it? Do you know that the first United States flag was created with it? The first Bible, the Constitution was written on it. In fact, farmers would face jail time if they didn't grow it. But it started with Harry Anslinger. In fact, he started a negative smear campaign because what they found about the cannabis plant, it actually grows in just 4.5 months, right? It's a very fast growing plant. And now if you compare that with the tree industry that's used to produce what? Paper, okay? And all of a sudden they realized that cannabis could put them out of business. And so they wanted to put a negative association to something that prior to that was used medicinally. In fact, most families had some type of cannabis inside of their environments, inside of their homes, right? And so now, how do they increase that stigma? They started to try to associate it with Mexico first, because they said, if we can associate this with the drug cartel, people will not want to put cannabis in their medicine cabinet. And so here's how they did it. They changed the name from cannabis to marijuana. They looked at the 2 most popular names in Mexico. And those 2 most popular names at the time were probably true to this day. and that was Maria and Juan. And so marijuana was born, the stigma was born, and they lobbied to get it prohibited. In fact, when he started to go out and preach, he said marijuana is the most violent drug in the history of mankind. And so by utilizing these smear campaigns, it actually turned the public perception, and they were able to vote for legislation to actually make the use and the growth of it illegal. But when you really think about the cannabis plant being deemed as a Scheduled I drug, when you think about a Scheduled I drug, it's considered the most dangerous drug. In fact, heroin is a Scheduled I drug. When you think about other things out there that are Schedule I drugs, these are drugs that are highly regulated. If you misuse these drugs, you're going to face jail time, right? But they put cannabis in that same arena. In fact, when you think about the definition of a Schedule I drug, it says Schedule I drugs are drugs that are illegal because they have high abuse potential, no medical use, severe safety concerns. For example, narcotics like heroin, LSD, and cocaine. When you think about Schedule II drugs, cocaine and methamphetamine. So what they were telling us is they were trying to tell us that it's safer for you to take cocaine and methamphetamine than for you to have cannabis. I mean, that is so unacceptable. Think about what's happening right now with the opioid crisis and how 133 people every day lose their life because of opioids. Do you know how many people have ever overdosed from cannabis? Not one. See, the only type of cannabis out there that might be harmful is if you get it under a non-regulated market where people are selling it illegally, right? They might lace it with rat poison. They might lace it with something. But if you look at cannabis by itself, it's harmless as it relates to causing death. And that's why we have to spread the truth. We have to get this message out there, because now we're at the point where we're giving our kids all sorts of drugs that are man-made with these horrible side effects. In fact, we're so thankful for former President Obama, because it was back in 2014 that he actually helped to deschedule the hemp part of the plant, right? And so hemp became something that was still highly regulated. So it wasn't available in all 50 states, but at least it started the conversation towards the farm bill that happened in 2018. And when the one happened in 2018, signed by number 45, it allowed it now in all 50 states. And here's a quote that I'm going to read you from a judge, just so that we can really wrap our head around what's happening. The quote says this: nearly all medicines have toxic, potentially lethal effects, but marijuana is not such a substance. There is no record in the extensive medical literature describing a proven, documented cannabis-induced fatality. And that's a judge who made that statement. But yet, here we are with the plant, that if you try to get access to that, in many states, you can still face jail time. I mean, it's just really unacceptable. And now we start to see people like Boehner, the former Speaker of the House, who was against the cannabis plant. When you think about Jeff Sessions, who were against the cannabis plant. And now all of a sudden you have Boehner on the board for a company who he's now advocating for his use. And he's now telling the world that his thinking on cannabis has evolved. He's convinced that we can actually utilize this plant to help our veterans. But now all of a sudden, because his pockets are getting fed, do you really think he's doing it for the health or for his wealth? He's doing it for his pockets, right? And it's really unacceptable, because that company, do you know, actually sold for over $3 billion. But Jeff Sessions and Boehner, see, there are some of the people that shape the laws that still impact people who are in our community that are suffering the price every day. And this is unacceptable. When you think about Corona, that's a beer also, guys, right? We now know Corona as a virus, right? But Corona Brewer actually just invested $4 billion into a marijuana company. Coca-Cola is eyeing the cannabis market. These big, huge companies are coming for the cannabis market because they understand it's going to create one of the greatest wealth producing industries on the planet. And so we want to get ahead of the industry. In fact, what they're doing with a lot of minorities, instead of trying to help us get in on the industry, they're just lining us up so that we can be their consumers. And we want to make sure we get on the other side of money. We don't want to be the people that's just standing in lines. In fact, this represents a line for a dispensary when it opens up. People are standing all around the corners, record-breaking sales. We can't keep spending money as consumers. We have to also create wealth in these emerging trends. And if you look at this cannabis industry, and if you look at where it's going and the trends that are happening, okay, there's nothing growing faster. In fact, by 2030, they're predicting that this will be a $100 billion industry. It's going to create instant millionaires. Who wants to be a part of that? Do you know when Canada legalized the plant, they actually got out of debt in one day when they legalized the plant? Don't you want some of that wealth for you and your family? And when we say nothing's growing faster, we mean nothing. Not the iPhones, the real estate, the Uber, Google, cannabis. Do you know they say the average family in the next few years will be spending around $700 per month on cannabis-derived products? Who wants a piece of that $700? The only thing that will be bigger than that is going to be their mortgage. In fact, groceries will probably tie for what people are spending on cannabis. That's a major market shift. And so if you look around the industry and you notice that 90% of women are interested in learning how to use cannabis for medicinal purposes, 34% of women are interested in this whole cannabis industry. And so it's all about timing. We want to be the pioneers, help going out there and educating consumers. And if you look at the hemp side of the industry and you compare the projected growth when it comes to the CBD sector, right? The CBD sector, even if you look at the ones growing from hemp, it's all combined. So regardless, this is the CBD market. Do you know that it was actually at one point at $202 million? I mean, that's nothing, right? In fact, when I came on board this industry in 2017, do you know that the CBD sector wasn't even $1 billion? But now it's going to go and explode, right? In fact, 3.1 billion this year. In fact, that we beat out projections. That was originally the projections, but all things are beating out those projections. I believe it ended up this year around 5 billion. But now in the next few years, it's going to over 24 billion. And so this is called timing, okay? We want to educate people and share with them why they need this plant. It's a massive opportunity to have first movers advantage. And so one of the things that I want to show you real quick, because I got a kick out of this, because oftentimes we're just slow to see what's happening. And then we get to the table, we try to take our seat, and guess what? It's too late. So you don't want to be that person in 10 years when so much wealth has been created. Now you're trying to get in. The time to get in is now. And sometimes we laugh at the local weed man, right? You might think, oh, wow, look at him. But do you know now these names are becoming mainstream? In fact, when I went online just to see what would Weedman cost, do you know that the value of weedman.com is already $9,000? So normally a domain costs 12 bucks. But to get that domain, you would have to pay 10 grand. See, somebody thought about it. See, some people were just out there selling the weed, but some people were understanding that one day this industry will legalize and there will be people delivering weed all around the country. And I want you to think about that for a second, right? In fact, whatever value you see here, just multiply that times 10, because typically, even though the value is there, if someone sells it, they're going to sell it exponentially higher. Let me show you what I mean, okay? So then I looked at Ganja Man. I said, okay, since Weed Man is gone, let me see if Ganja Man is available. Ganja Man has a value of just $4,414, so a very low value compared to Weed Man. It's half the value. But do you know that if you wanted to buy Ganja Man right now, the person selling it will sell that to you for $86,888. And see, here's why we say that. It's time for you to wake up and smell the cannabis. This industry, over our lifetime, will go to $1 trillion. Can you imagine we're here at the beginning as it's just hitting the $1 billion mark? So this is the time to think about how you want to market yourself. Many of you have already done that, and I salute you. I own over 500 domains. I believe that domains and the website and the internet is the new real estate, and we want to stake our claim. In fact, I've staked my claim. I own websites like Best Marijuana Stocks, right? And do you know that has an estimated value of over $3,000, which means if I wanted to sell it in the marketplace, I could sell it for $60,000 or $70,000. What did I pay for that? I paid less than $12 for that. I own another website called Mobile Marijuana. And the reason why I bought this name, because just like we have medical marijuana, I knew that one day there's going to be delivery companies delivering marijuana to the door. And if they want mobile marijuana, they're going to have to come to me. In fact, I've already had someone come to me with a broker through GoDaddy. They wanted to pay me about 20 grand for this name right here. And guess what I told them? I told them, no way. In fact, I wouldn't accept anything probably less than $150,000, $200,000, maybe at that point, right? But there's no way I would sell it. I probably would wait at $1 million, right? Because guess what? The names are going to keep getting more valuable as the industry legalizes, as these conversations become mainstream. And so there's something called a financial watershed. I don't know if you've ever been a part of a watershed, right? But that basically means a windfall. And so when you think about the new laws that are happening, all of a sudden companies that were just waiting, think about the CBD companies that were in business 5 years ago, and they were waiting on that 2018 Farm Bill. Think about it. We joined the industry in 2017 when people were telling us we would go to jail, right? Because they're telling us CBD wasn't legal in this state or that state or this state. And we're like, no, the 2014 Farm Bill will protect us, right? We just knew we couldn't promote it. But in 2018, when the laws changed, we were perfectly positioned to open up our company in 2019. You got to follow the trends. And all of a sudden, because of the legalization, it sent 44 stocks soaring past 1,000%. Can you imagine 1,000% growth? 11 stocks soaring past 10,000%. 5 stocks soaring past 25,000%. Another 3 past 50,000% growth, and 1 surged over 130,000. And that's called right time, right place. But you have to pay attention. A part of Pink Crush, we also do education platforms where we can show you and teach you some of the ones that you might want to pay attention to. We don't do stock training, but what we do is just share with you some of our experience. But we're seeing this weed stock tsunami. In fact, there's a vape company in California who their vapes actually grew from 40 cents a share to over $35 a share in a 4-month period. In fact, there was another company, when you look at that growth, from 10 cents to $14, 13,900% growth. And so now you're probably thinking, okay, that's exciting for the marijuana industry, right? I've just given you a lot of statistics about what's happening with weed. But now let's get into something that we're passionate about, and that's CBD. Because we know that CBD is truly the sleeping giant. See, most people 5 years ago weren't betting on CBD. They were betting on THC. But now what the market is showing, people don't want to get high every day. They want the health benefits without the high. Now, some people still want to get high, and so THC will sell. But think about a senior that's just trying to get out of pain. Think about a millennial that has to go to work every day. They got to get drug tested. They can't have THC in their system every day. And so when you start looking at where CBD is going, you can look at Rolling Stone magazine. Rolling Stone says how CBD became the unexpected star. No one was banking on CBD to do what it's doing right now. In fact, when I first put this together, again, they were saying maybe 3 billion, perhaps 2 billion in 2020, but now already it's going over 5+ billion because they weren't expecting it to have the growth that it was doing. But when you look at the plant, I can't wait until we do another one of these. We bring our doctors on and they teach you about the health benefits. You learn about CBD and THC. In fact, our very own expert, Dr. Rita, will be on our upcoming Pink Crush, right? And so when you look at the studies, right? When you look at the fact that CBD, and CBD is in this column right here, the one that's mainly pink. See that? It's mainly pink. This is CBD. You notice THC has benefits, but they're scattered. And what's exciting about a full spectrum CBD product, it's going to have all the cannabinoids. So all the benefits that you're seeing are going to be witnessed with CBD, especially when it's full spectrum. But even if it's just CBD by itself, you notice, wow, all of these properties that CBD has, everything from anti-tumor, it can actually help with slowing bacteria growth, anxiety, even your nervous system, artery blockage. I mean, the list doesn't stop. They've studied over 100 different ailments that CBD has shown to benefit. And so we want to pay attention because this is also an industry that's still in its infancy, okay? There's still some states that are battling over the legalization of CBD, even though on a federal level, we're protected, right? But do you know in some countries, CBD is still illegal. In fact, this industry is now projected to go even bigger than 22 billion by 2024. They're saying over 24 billion by 2024. And if you look at the statistic for 2030, I mean, that one blows me away because 100 billion, I mean, who was predicting that? No one. And now over 1,300% growth. I mean, that industry of itself. And so imagine if you're a company like ours and we're just looking at growing with the industry, but not just growing with the industry, but growing even faster. And we measure ourselves every day based on where the industry is going. And all I can tell you is by the year 2030, get ready, one out in the nation. And so are you ready, right, to unleash your inner cannabis? Perhaps you want to get into the marijuana industry. I know here in Illinois, we have the opportunity to apply for 7 different licenses. And so for those of you who are joining to learn about how you can get in the legal space on the marijuana side, you're in for a treat. So you want to take copious notes because I'm going to give you some secrets, okay? I'm going to give you some items that they're not going to tell you. So they're going to let you apply. They're going to let you put your money out there, but they're really not going to teach you how to not waste your money because the reality is every time people apply, there's only a small percentage of people that are going to be approved. And here's the bottom line. Those who were not approved, you don't get a refund, okay? You don't get your money back when you're not approved. And so let's look at the marijuana ecosystem first, because I want you to really, truly understand the marijuana ecosystem, because many of you think it's all about the THC side, and that's fine. My purpose today is to share with you that industry, and I encourage you, if you want to go into that industry, do so, but do it responsibly, okay? Do it responsibly and make sure you have all the knowledge that you need. And so when we think about the marijuana ecosystem, we think about the fact that there are growers in the industry. And I'm getting a little feedback. We think about that there's technology. There's technology, there's apps that people are developing in the marijuana space. So you can also touch the plant without touching the plant, which means you can earn money from the plant, but you cannot even touch the plant, which means you don't have to get your license or have regulations bestowed upon you from the government if you have an idea where the plant isn't touched and you're just creating perhaps an app or something independent, maybe a technology, okay? Real estate. Some of you might be real estate brokers and think about the fact that they're about to build all these dispensaries in Illinois. You might want to ask yourself, how can you get in on that? Because those are going to be big deals being cut. Because just to build out your building, those people owning those dispensaries are going to spend $1 to $3 million. So imagine you having an opportunity to be the realtor in front of that trend and marketing yourself accordingly. When you think about a dispensary, now that's obviously hands-on, highly regulated, right? This is where you have to go through all sorts of background checks. Marijuana edibles. Many of you are great chefs and formulators, and we're going to talk about that as well. Maybe you're a pharmacist, okay? Maybe you're on the science side, and maybe you want to look at a weed-based wonder drug. Maybe you have an idea. Perhaps you want to just invest in some of these companies that are creating these wonder drugs. I know there's a drug right now on the marketplace with THC where the prescription for that is $32,000 per year. Is that crazy, right? So imagine the wealth the pharmaceutical industries will create. But then there's other avenues, whether it's banking and venture capital. Perhaps you want to just loan money and give money to people that are looking to build out their dispensary. And now you're earning passive income on that. And then of course, social media. When this industry starts to regulate to the point we can do a lot on social media, imagine the opportunity to have a niche just with your social media marketing. But first, let's look at some of the drawbacks, right? Some of the obstacles. We call these our rules and our regulations. Credit check. So make sure credit's in good shape. You want to start working on that right now. Background check, okay? Hopefully you can meet that requirement. Think about so many people who know the most about the plant in our community, but they often have felons on their records. And so they can't even get into an industry in which they're highly skilled and they know all about the plant. An IRS check, right? They want to make sure, are you paying your taxes, okay? So the government's going to be involved. Child support. Are you behind on your child support? If you're behind on your child support, you're not going to get into the weed industry. Okay, so there's things you want to look at. There's other careers you can look at as it relates to even being a bud tender. A bud tender is someone who works at a dispensary and they actually work more in retail. They're educated on the product. They understand terpenes and all those benefits. Perhaps you want to get on the growing side, right? You want to grow marijuana, right? You want to learn how to grow maybe even hemp. So that's also an opportunity. And then maybe you want to do the edible side. You want to infuse it into your brownies, infuse it into your cookies. There's ancillary businesses as well. Perhaps you're an accountant, and perhaps you want to learn how to specialize in cannabis accounting. That's a very, it's trendy right now. When I go to cannabis conferences before COVID, you would see accounting firms there wanting to get all that money, even though a lot of times the banking has not caught up yet. At one point, it's going to catch up where we're now going to have legalization of banking here. And think about what that's going to do on the financial side as it relates to all those ancillary businesses. Cannabis financing, insurance for the cannabis companies. We have an insurance company that specializes in cannabis insurance. And so you might be an insurance agent who specializes in cannabis clients. And then, of course, we talked about real estate earlier, and even designing websites, okay? Designing websites for these cannabis companies, these dispensaries that are lining up. Some of them are going to be awarded license. And if you're a web developer, you could position yourself, because again, a lot of people haven't thought about a new industry is emerging, and out of that industry, it's going to create so much opportunity. And are you going to position yourself in front of the opportunity? Branding and marketing, that's a big, big area. But again, you can specialize for cannabis and CBD. But here's the deal, guys, money is required, because anytime you talk about something that's highly regulated, it requires lots of money, lots of capital, okay? And so here's some sources that I want you to take note of. These are companies that actually fund and give money to people who are trying to get in the cannabis space. And so you might want to check out fundingpost.com, startups.com/investors. Maybe you can utilize your credit card, max the credit cards out, right? To get into the space, get your business idea going. Social media, life insurance policy. This is just giving you ideas on how to raise money. A lot of times people will do something on social media to raise money for a great idea. They'll do a GoFundMe for a great idea, just letting people know, here's what I'm doing, right? This is what's happening. Let them know and see if people are willing to support it. Right now, there's some kind of link on Facebook that lets you raise money for businesses. And so you want to check out avenues that allow you to raise money for a startup business. Very important. You have to be clear that it's a startup business. Your retirement, your 401k, home equity. Perhaps you have money sitting on your home. You can invest in this industry, and guess what that means? That means as the industry grows, you're now capitalizing on something that's moving faster than what it's going to be just sitting in the bank, right? Family and friends. I mean, hey, I don't know if you have family and friends that are willing to loan you money, but you can do that as well. Starting a dispensary. How many of you have ever dreamed of starting your own dispensary, really getting in the cannabis space and touching all the parts of the plant, from the THC to the CBD, and to really take it to that next level? And so we're going to look at what it really would take if you wanted to start a dispensary, okay? So here's the deal, guys. A few years ago, we had somebody render us a dispensary for the marijuana space. So again, it's amazing how God works, because we ended up applying for the marijuana space, but we had already put the vision board of being a dispensary owner in the marijuana space before we became anything connected with applying for dispensary licenses, right? But then in 2019, the opportunity presented itself to us, and we came up with this concept called the Underground. It was our Diamond Star dispensaries. We registered with the state. We went through the application process. We have all the best team, the dream team, come together with us. But what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to show you really what it takes, because when you see what it takes, not everybody's going to have the stomach for this, and definitely not everyone's going to have the pocketbook for this, because what it means high risk. So you got to be willing to lose $250,000, right? How many people right now are willing to lose $250,000? Now I say risk versus reward, because in losing it, obviously that's devastating, but what if it worked out? What if you won and now you're sitting on millions and millions and millions of dollars? You're in a space that very few will ever get in. And so see, this is how the system has designed to keep minorities out. Because anytime you're talking about $250,000, it's not like the average African-American person has $250,000 just sitting in the bank account, right? And so here's what it takes, okay? If you're ready to get on the marijuana side, to get started, first of all, you have to prepare what they call a plan. And it's not a business plan. Yeah, you need a business plan, and the business plan will be about 50 pages long, but you're also going to need about 20 other exhibits equally as long. So we're talking about 1,000 documents that you're going to write and submit so that you can understand every part of the plan, because the state is not going to just give a license to someone that doesn't understand it. You have to have some type of relative skill to know that you have the wherewithal to not only get the license, but to execute it and to have this become a success, okay? And so they're going to do background checks. In fact, they do fingerprints, right? So if you aren't in the system, you will be in the system, because once they fingerprint you, you're in their national database, right? And so if you own a gun, in many instances, you actually have to not have your gun permit, right? So it's tricky in different states. So you want to make sure you understand what you're getting into before you jump into it so that you're prepared. In fact, 5 years of income tax. So if you've not been filing your taxes, right, that's going to be another barrier. So 5 years of income tax. Now there's other ways around that, but they make it so hard that you really need about 5 years of income tax in order to do it. Proof of residence, right? So you have to prove you live in the state in which you live for at least 5 years. So you can't be up moving back and forth to different areas. They want to reward those to people locally, even though people from out of state get on the ticket because they come in and find local people. And that's how people from California, Indiana, and these other places have licenses here in Illinois. But then also too, in the situation here in Illinois, we had something called social equity. So then you had to prove also that you lived in an area that was disproportionately impacted for at least 5 years, right? So there's a lot of things, a lot of documents you're gonna have to come up with. And it's not just coming up with these documents. They want these notarized, because if you falsify your documents, you say something wrong, now it's called risking jail time, right? So all of a sudden you're trying to get into the cannabis space, not knowing that all these obstacles are right in front of you. And here's the deal, here's our reality. When we looked at the space, and collectively, because it was two groups of us, combined, we actually invested over $500,000. And guess what the state has given us so far? Zero, which means that could be $500,000 that's completely down the drain. We don't know, right? Independently, with our Diamond Star dispensary, over $250,000 invested. But again, that's not promised anything. So are you willing to spend that type of money and not be promised anything in order to get on that THC side, that you can participate in this wealth trend that's going to go to $100 million, right? In a fast amount of time. So let's kind of look at some of this stuff. So you have these forms, whether it's a fingerprint form, your IRS form, so you're providing your 1040s, right? All of the different proof. And those have to be real copies, right? You can't think you're going to falsify something, because if you do, guess what? Everything you check will tell you that you will be penalized by jail time, okay? Huge fines. You have to have a cultivation plan, right? So you have to understand cultivation, or at least get a team that understands cultivation. So a part of this will be building out your dream team, your facility planning, an analysis. And each one of these exhibits that we prepared, in fact, we brought in an expert, and for that expert alone, they charged us $100 grand. I mean, who has $100 grand to spend on an expert on a business plan, on a cultivation plan that's not guaranteed to actually materialize, right? But this is what they're doing to keep us out, ladies and gentlemen. You have to understand labels and safety, really how you prepare the data. You have to understand all of these nuances, because if anything's wrong, you're going to get deducted off your score. And guess what? You're not going to get a license, right? A business plan, but not your traditional business plan. We're talking about a 50-page plus business plan that really shares all the key people that are involved and connected. And you got to prove that you have the experience to handle it. So let's look at our results, guys. Now, we're one of the companies who came into this whole application process with lots of confidence, right? Because here we are operating Wakana. We are the largest African-American female-owned CBD cannabis company in the state of Illinois. We were the first, right? So we're excited about our explosive sales, right? Now we're going on $4 million in sales, right? We crossed that 3 million, going on $4 million. So you would think that with all of our experience, it would be at the top of the list, right? And so here's the reality. With all we've invested, right, the total score you can get was 250. That means you had a perfect score. Now, our advisors told us they've judged these competitions. They've seen them all across the country. They've never seen more than 1 or 2 people get a perfect score, right? So it's rare that you get a perfect score. So even if you get 220, you're considered to be great, right? Well, guess what, folks? We had a 246 score, right? I mean, in school, that would have been almost an A+, right? We crossed our I's, we dotted our T's, invested over $250,000 in these 7+ licenses, and guess what? Still haven't heard from the state. Don't even know if we'll hear from the state. It could be just money wasted, right? But it's not wasted because in everything you do, you learn and you utilize it to go to the next level. But here's where it really gets interesting, because if you think that's a lot to stomach, if perhaps you're getting little, bubbles in your stomach when you're listening to this, here's the reality, guys. You're not even started yet. Because once you get started, be prepared to raise another $1 to $3 million minimum. And in most cases, it's going to cost much more than that. Because if you want to cultivate, just building out your building will cost you about $3 to $4 million if you want to indoor grow. And that's where the market's trending, towards those indoor grows. Your city and state licenses, your construction costs for your dispensary and grow facility, your insurance, and insurance premiums are just through the roof for cannabis, right? All your permits for state and city, your deposits for utilities, your architect and your engineering design. Now, we came to the market with most of this stuff already done because we were required to. We had to go get permits. We had to go find security and do a contract with security companies. We had to go find a building. We had to literally go find a building, and you either put a lease on the building or you buy the building. Can you imagine people buying a building and they're not guaranteed anything, right? But yes, there's more, okay, if that's not enough. Your legal fees. So prepare to have the best attorneys. Your grow facility, your building, your grow facility equipment, your alarms and cameras, computer system equipment, your dispensary furniture and office. Is this not exhausting? Can you understand why they've made it so complicated for anyone to get in unless they're setting on large sums of money, which means they're doing everything in their power to keep minorities out of this industry? But what if there was a third door? What if there was a third door? See, sometimes in life, the front door closes. Sometimes even the window that opened up is closed. And now you're looking around and wondering, what do I do? See, we're resourceful people. We don't take no for an answer. We keep pushing, right? Because what we recognize, if you want to have your seat at the table, you got to prepare to fight, okay? And so this third door, what if there was a way where you could actually get started in this industry with little to no startup cost? What if there was a way you could start earning income in this industry without a background check or a credit check? What if you can get started immediately? Well, here's what I'm happy to say. See, this is the building. I'm actually sitting here in one of our conference rooms, but this is our building. We're here on not on Halsted, that's our old address. We're here on 411 East 35th Street in Bronzeville, okay? And we now have almost this entire side of the building. In fact, where it was State Farm, we now have that space too. So this is us from this window here all the way down to the end where you see that clock. And now this is us all the way down almost to the end of that corner. And so we're sitting here on now about almost 6,000 square foot of space. And we've already invested the $250,000 to be in the CBD space, because if you want to have a company, just know getting started in CBD is hard as well, right? But we've done that. And so we've taken the risk off the table for those who want to partner in with us. And we're going to explain how we do just that. And so what I'm going to do, now that you've had a chance to see a little bit more about the cannabis industry and this amazing industry in which we're all in right now, I'm going to go right back real quick. We're going to stop sharing the screen. So one moment. Let me come up here. Stop sharing the screen. Let's find it. One moment. Oh, there we go. And wow, we're up to 142 people. That's pretty cool. Hi, everyone. For those who came after we started, we want to welcome you to the line. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen real quick, because what we're going to do now, we're going to actually transition, guys. We're going to transition because you've had a chance to hear some powerful information. And hopefully this information opens your eyes so that you can really see what's happening, because anytime there's a lot of wealth moving, When there's wealth moving all over the place, they're trying to keep us away, right? When there's crumbs, they tell us to take a seat at the table. When there's minimum wage jobs, they tell us to take a seat at the table. But when the wealth is falling out like Niagara Falls and money's everywhere, they want to keep us restricted. And so we've got to knock on those doors and then knock down those doors. And collectively, that's what we're doing. And so I'm excited now because we're going to transition into another part of this, where we're going to share a little bit about what we do as a company, what we've done together to bring the cannabis industry to African-American community, to minority communities, to the Hispanic community, because we're taking this not only all over the United States, we're taking it around the world. We're taking it to Mexico. We're taking it all around. And that's the exciting part about CBD. See, unlike THC, you're limited to Illinois. With CBD, there's no boundaries, there's no territories. So the opportunity is actually so much more exciting. We just have to understand it. And so what I'm going to do real quick is we're going to go ahead and share this next part. And I see Dr. Natasha. I can't wait to the next presentations. We're going to have the medical team, guys. We're going to learn about the science. See, today we're understanding the wealth, right? Because we have to understand the wealth that's happening, because a lot of times these wealth trends happen in our lifetime, but what happens? We miss out on them. So one moment, let me just get out of this. 1 second. Here we go. Okay, we're going to get off of this. There we go. Okay, great. And so now when the wealth trend's happening, we're going to stop sharing. There we go. And now we're going to share this next screen. I'm going to show you guys another video. And welcome. It looks like people are still piling on. This is exciting, guys. Oh my goodness. I mean, this was a last minute idea. And to see 140 something people on, you guys rock. Hopefully you're learning something. If you learned something, hey, let us know. We want to help you to take this to the next level, but we want to know you're learning something. Let's go ahead and pull up the next piece of information we're going to share. So one moment. And so now my team's going to come on. We got a team of folks that's going to help us to explain this, because it's a lot of information to explain. Let's make sure I get the right one. There we go. So I got the right one pulled up now. And so now what I want to do, we want to end out of this. And then we're going to transition over to this part right here. Yes, knowledge is power. I'm seeing some of those comments, guys. I'm a little bit far away, so I can't see all your comments, but I can't wait to go back and read all the comments. So thank you guys so much. We're learning today, guys, learning today. That's what it's about. It's about learning it, guys, so we can empower our kids. We can empower our future generations. We can tell them we're not going to be denied. We're going to show up, take our share, okay, of this phenomenal industry. And so now we're sharing another screen. Let's make sure the sound is being shared. Okay, great. So what I'm going to do real quick, guys, I want to show you what we do. I'm going to bring Kathy back up. I'm going to bring Phyllis Nash up. We want to show you what we do. So first, I want to show you a couple of videos. After I show you a couple of videos, I want to talk to you a little bit about who we are. And then after we do that, I'm going to bring Kathy up, because I really want her to explain to you the CBD side, the science behind why that's so incredible. And then, of course, we have to have our powerful CSO come up and talk about the wealth side of this, because there's a lot of money to make in the CBD space, ladies and gentlemen. And so Wakana, who is Wakana? Wakana is the crown jewel of CBD. And I'm so excited now, because I'm here at the headquarters. Because we were doing the Pink Rush first, I actually turned the signs and put them over. But for the guests that are there, perhaps you just wanted the free information. You're not obligated to stay for this portion. You know, we want to honor what we committed to, and that's giving you the knowledge and the empowerment. But for those of you who really saw something that made sense, and now you want to stay a little bit longer, just so that you can see, well, what are they doing in Chicago? How can I participate? How can my kids participate? Maybe you have some millennial kids. I always say kids because my son is 28, and yes, he's a young man, but he's always my kid, okay? So when I say kids, I say 21 and over, right? So if you have someone 21 and over, and maybe they want to participate, okay? And so Wakana, we are the crown jewel of CBD. Before we go through the presentation, I always love to show a couple of videos. The first one I want to show is my child, Tariq, who's 28. This is his video that he produced the song. And of course, it'll give you a little bit of insight into the culture of Wakana, the flavor of Wakana. It's about 2 minutes long, so hold on 1 second. We're going to play this real quick. Here we go.
I've been wondering how to find you. I've been looking for you. Should come with me to Wakanda. So what you tryna do? I've been meaning to remind you. To remind you. See, I had so much on my mind, yeah. I've been wondering how to find you. I've been looking for you. Should come with me to Wakanda. So what you tryna do? I've been meaning to remind you. To remind you. See, I had so much on my mind, yeah. Don't go nowhere without my CBD. If you know me, it's with me anyway. You seeing me, got it on me. It's my only way of freeing me, all on my only. By my side is never leaving me, I'm never lonely. It'll get you through them late nights, no sleep. Feeling anxious when you take flight. You so free, you can use it for them back pains. The swollen knees, that feel special got me right, man. Could go to sleep, ain't gotta worry about no laws, man. No police to try to tell you that it's all the same. They so sleep, but they can flower in the Hall of Fame. And quote me, cannabis is good for everything, nobody oldies. They light us up for this flower. Left us in the dark to get devoured. Left us in the grave with no flowers. Now it's our time, it's our hour. This storm coming, no showers. They screams louder, scream louder. Let's make room for this flower. We can all bloom with this flower. They light us up for this flower. Left us in the dark to get devoured. Left us in the grave with no flowers. Now it's our time, it's our hour. This storm coming, no showers. They screams louder, scream louder. Let's make room for this flower. We can all bloom with this flower. I've been wondering how to find you. I've been looking for you. Should come with me to Wakanda. So what you tryna do? I've been meaning to remind you. To remind you. See, I had so much on my mind, yeah. I've been wondering how to find you. I've been looking for you. Should come with me to Wakanda. So what you tryna do? I've been meaning to remind you. To remind you. See, I had so much on my mind, yeah. I've been wondering how to find you. I've been looking for you. You should come with me to Wakanda. So what you tryna do? I've been meaning to remind you. To remind you. See, I had so much on my mind, yeah. I've been wondering how to find you. I've been looking for you. Should come with me to Wakanda. So what you tryna do? I've been meaning to remind you. To remind you. See, I had so much on my mind, yeah.
Okay, I always love that song. It gives me such a smile. And he wrote that song and dedicated that to us and just said, hey, this is your song. That was a gift from him to us. So we thank you, Tariq. Love you so much. So Wakanda, the crown jewel of CBD. Now what I'm going to do real quick, we're going to go a little bit further. I'm going to show you another video. So this is a video just to drop some education, some knowledge on the cannabis industry. So let's just pay attention to this. It's going to give us some of that science so we can really understand why cannabis is so important to the society in which we live in right now. So let's go ahead and play that.
Hello, my name is Dr. David Allen. I'm a retired cardiac surgeon and a member of the International Cannabinoid Research Society, ICRS. That means I'm a cannabinoid research scientist. And I'm here to tell you about the discovery of the endocannabinoid system, the ECS, and the significance and how it will change medicine. And we discovered the endocannabinoid system about 30 years ago, and we really didn't understand the significance of its discovery. And so we found out that this is a chemical communication that your body has. It's not electrical, it's chemical, and it's kind of like the hormone systems that people are familiar with. And your body makes these cannabinoids. They're endogenous, so they're endocannabinoids, and they perform some miraculous functions in the body. And we're just learning the significance of these functions. And basically, the endocannabinoid system is responsible for homeostasis. Most people don't understand what that really means, but it's the body's ability to maintain itself and function in the proper environment. And so it's critically important that doctors in the future understand this control mechanism. And we're finding out that that manipulation of this endocannabinoid system will control diabetes. It controls cancer. It controls whether you can survive a heart attack or stroke. And so this is critically important for doctors to understand this new science. And the discovery of the endocannabinoid system is the single most important medical scientific discovery ever, and will save more lives than the discovery and application of sterile surgical technique. And I'm a heart surgeon saying that. So more people will be saved by manipulation of the endocannabinoid system than are currently saved by surgery.
Wow. And when you listen to that, you understand why this gold rush is here, why everyone's clamoring. When you realize the magnitude of this plant, it's so healing, it's so medicinal, and people want their share. So this is a quick 1.5 minute video. It's gonna just give you a little bit about who we are as a company. So hold tight, let's play this one, and this is the last video, and we're gonna go into the presentation.
Wakana, the crown jewel of CBD, is now available. We're organically grown. We're all natural. We're premium grade. We're Wakana. Wakana partners with the world's leading formulators, scientists, doctors, and experts to ensure the best product by using the finest ingredients. Our full panel-tested products undergo a rigorous testing process to ensure the purest, most effective products in the world.
At any time I feel a little flare-up coming in my back, in my shoulder after working out, in my knee after standing so long, I put the extreme topical in that area. And so now I am feeling so much better.
Our high-quality, all-natural, organically grown CBD is non-psychotropic, therefore doesn't cause a euphoric high. From chronic pain to anxiety to insomnia, Wakana CBD products are a safe and proven alternative.
I was just fine, living day, everyday, regular life, and then suddenly couldn't walk. I found out that it was as a result of osteoporosis.
The video stopped, Melissa. Melissa, that video stopped.
Ask him, are the anchors in there? Now the strings go out?
Could you wait a minute, Kathy? We got a little technical difficulty.
I do see.
We're gonna
I see
change
that.
it.
Okay.
Guys, we have a phenomenal, while we're getting this straight, we want to not lag at any time. So we have our own Shawana Thomas, who is going to give a testimony. We know that facts tell, but stories sell. And when you hear these phenomenal testimonies, it kind of blows your mind. So without further ado, the star of two of our videos, Miss Shawana Thomas, you can give her the spotlight, Kathy.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
You can hear me, Kathy?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. How's everybody doing today? Well, right now, I know a few people have heard my testimony already, but I was, of course, introduced to CBD by Pink Rush. The first person that ever sold me some CBD was Kathy. You may not remember this, but she was the one that sold me my first tincture of CBD. Well, I work at Cook County Juvenile Detention. So we're going to pause right there of where I work. In my 20s, I was robbed and I was shot. I was shot in my left arm, and I was shot in my left arm and right thigh. In my 20s, when you're young, you kind of suppress everything. So I suppressed it. In my 30s, I started to work at Cook County Juvenile Detention, the largest facility in the country next to California. I would start to get hurt. I would have concussions from trying to restrain the kids, a closed fist to my face, left out in the ambulance, possibly in the ambulance maybe 2 or 3 times. So I've been off several times. Me going to the doctor, I kept saying something is wrong. I don't know what is wrong. So they said, oh, that's okay. They put me on one of the strongest anxiety medications you could be on. Then I was hurt again, left out in the ambulance. They had the leads to my chest. They thought I was having a heart attack. And I said, oh my goodness, doctor, I can't sleep. He said, that's okay. We're gonna put you on one of the strongest met sleep aids that you can be on, which is Ambien. I did everything from sleepwalk to everything that you can think of to do. I couldn't really remember the next day of what I did. So this time I was off injured again. In the process of being off injured, I say, I think I need to do something different. And that the CBD that I purchased from Pink Rush, I was like, okay, let me kind of see what's to this. I didn't believe it, so I really didn't take it properly. So I then called the chief medical officer and was like, excuse me, this is my story. What do I do? She said, you need to up your dose. So I started to tincture under my tongue. Instead of doing 2 and 3 drops, I started to do 10 drops a day. In the process of doing 10 drops a day, I felt a difference. I was having extreme withdrawal effects from the Klonopin and the Ambien. But I was like, this time I gotta weather through this. So at this point in my life right now, doing that, 500 milligrams of hempranium, 10 drops a day under my tongue, and to go to sleep, I take the gummies. I no longer
they right on the corner.
Down by that McDonald's.
Yeah.
I no longer take. Well, whoever at McDonald's, grab me something because I'm hungry up here at this
Trying
dispensary.
to get that. Trying to get that.
So in the process of me starting to take my tinctures and my Ambien, start to take my tinctures and my gummies, I no longer take the Ambien, nor I no longer take any type of psychotropic medication whatsoever. I only take my tincture under my tongue and I only take my gummies at night. So when I do this testimony, it's not just a testimony for me. We're talking about my life. It changed my life to the point that I no longer take any type of medication whatsoever. So for me, this is my life, Wakana for life. So thank you very much for listening, not just to my testimony, but listening of a part of my life. So thank you very much.
Wow, Shawana, thank you for saving the day. My battery died. I said, girl, run in there, get on the computer.
Because I'm actually working at the dispensary as well. So I'm like, ooh, here we go. So thank you, everyone. And Wakana for life.
Yes. And I got another amazing powerhouse that was at the Pink Rush. That's how we met her. She saw our post on social media and she decided to come out. And she's now like family. So let's see if her video is on. Shannon King, if you can turn your video on, please.
All right, get back to her, Gina.
Hi, how are you, everyone?
Let me find you. We're gonna spotlight you 1 second. Okay, now you're spotlighted.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shannon King. I am now the Vice President of Business Development at Wakana. But the way that I was introduced to this industry was similar to Shawana. I went to a Pink Rush event, didn't know anything about the industry, never heard of the word CBD. I knew marijuana and I knew I wasn't a consumer of it and didn't frankly, my information on it was that it wasn't anything that did anybody any good. It was kind of a lazy drug to me, but that was just my ignorance at the time. But I knew that this industry was going to be powerful. I knew that they were talking about it on the news more often, and I was interested in how I could get in the investment side of it some kind of way, but went to this Pink Rush and I was absolutely astounded by the fact that there were so many women from all across the United States talking about CBD and cannabis and hemp and just all these new phrases that were new to me. They were talking about building houses with it and making clothes with it and just the history behind it. And it was, women from different nationalities just talking about it. And I was like, I definitely want to be a part of this. I definitely want to invest in this some kind of way. And I knew at that point that the investment side of it, I was interested in it, but I ended up buying a product from there that day. And I was waiting until they were having a meeting to join. But bought a product that day, decided to take the product as they suggested. Actually, they suggested 3 drops in the morning of the tincture, the CBD tincture, and then 3 drops at night. But I have rheumatoid arthritis. I was diagnosed when I was 17. I'm now 51, I'll be 52 next week. But have rheumatoid arthritis. And so with that comes a whole host of pains and aches, and I've been on crutches a number of times in my life. I've had my knees drained. It used to be hard for me to get out of the bed in the morning. I used to have to roll off the bed. But anyway, I decided to take 6 drops in the morning and 6 drops at night of the tincture. Within, my story is that it's within 6 days, it worked for me, but actually on day 6, I was on my way to work and I was talking to my best friend and she was saying, how did that product work for you? And it dawned on me at that moment that I forgot to be in pain that day. And that was super powerful for me. So I ended up resigning from my full-time position as a nurse. I don't recommend that for anybody. Phyllis is gonna kill me for saying that. I don't recommend that, but you know, that's just where I was. I had enough savings to get into this industry where I could see where it was gonna go. And I'm a nurse, so there's always a job out there waiting for me. So I just decided I was gonna go full force. The biggest saving grace for me was the fact that I didn't know anything about the industry and I just did what they said. They said, call people every day. They said, connect to people every day. Everything they said in the sales academy, I did that because I was completely new to this industry and it worked in my favor. I am now an emerald in Wakana, and I am so grateful to be in this industry. I've completely transitioned out of traditional nursing to be in this cannabis space. And, you know, I'm just so grateful for Wakana. I'm so grateful for how it's helped me so that I don't have the side effects from the medications that I used to take for rheumatoid arthritis. It's not destroying my kidneys. It's not destroying my liver. I just have a better quality of life. And, you know, all of that is from having a quality product, a company that stands by you, a company that educates you, and a product that works. That's the only way we're lasting this long, is because we have a product that works over and over again. I'm a product of the product, and that's my testimony.
Wow, Shannon, thank you so much. And for those of you who don't know what Emerald means, that means this month in November, her business has already generated at least 50,000. But we know you, Shannon, you've also produced a diamond. So I believe your business this month, what was your total revenue for your
The last time I checked, it was over $230,000 for just November, and November is not even over yet. So that's me and my team. I have phenomenal leaders, and I have phenomenal people on it that hold me up and hold me to a different standard. I'm trying to catch up with everybody on my team. It's just amazing that we can all get there together and we can all share in the wealth aspect of this plant.
That is awesome, Shannon. I mean, that is crazy because we talk about Black Friday and everybody's spending money at these stores, but who's spending them with you? So to have Shannon now in the cannabis industry because of Wakana, she's been able to impact her own life, but impact others as well, to the tune that their stores did over $200,000 and something this month. And there are cannabis marijuana stores that did not do $100,000 in sales for the month. So let's give it up for Shannon. Woo! That is awesome, Shannon.
Thank you, guys.
I got goosebumps, okay? And so we're gonna keep it moving, guys. I'm gonna actually go over to Tracy. Where are you at, Tracy? Gigi. I'm gonna bring Gigi up. I think Tracy's gonna come up. Tracy, I know she's here. So Tracy, if you can make your way to the, oh, there she is.
I am here, just working hard because I am so excited for all that we have accomplished here in Wakana. So excited about this Zoom meeting you are doing for us and how you have been such a support to us all. I am Tracy Bolton, and I am Director of Warehouse and Logistics here for Wakana. Just kind of thrown off of
this eloquence about her that everybody wants to be Iola Johnson, and they should be well respected and well liked.
There's something, Tracy, we're not hearing you. We're hearing something else. Tracy, we're not hearing Tracy. Let her know we're not hearing her. You're just talking, girl. We don't hear anything.
Tracy, we're not hearing you, dear.
Tracy.
She's muted.
She can hear me in the building. She's in the building. Tracy!
So she is giving that report today.
Okay. I don't know what's going on with her.
Somebody else is unmuting themselves.
Yeah, let's we'll bring Tracy. Oh, she's gonna Phyllis's computer. Thank you.
Pure after.
Okay. Yeah, let's have a seat. We can see you. Oh, she's on Phyllis's computer now. Let's see. Phyllis, is she on your computer? Phyllis?
Change her to my screen. She's sitting.
We will. I'm gonna find it now. Yep, gotcha.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Just want to say how excited I am to be involved with such hardworking women. Was introduced through one of the founders here at Wakana, Patricia Van Pelt, which has really changed my life. I was saying earlier that I worked for the post office for about 30 years, have an occupational disease. They told me at age 49 that I would be disabled without the use of my hands and arms due to carpal tunnel, which had turned into a nerve condition, just a nerve condition, period. So where I wouldn't have the use of my hands. So these products have been phenomenal for me. You know, such to the point where I'm taking them to my doctors, letting them know this is what I'm taking and this is what's helping. And they're encouraging me to continue with the use of it. You know, not saying that it has cured anything or any of that, but I tell you, I am still working today for the post office. I am director of warehouse and logistics here at Wakana, and I'm able to do all of these great things through the use of these products. And like Shannon and Shawana said before, our products are phenomenal. They third-party tested, and they do help you to be mobile and to live your best life, especially when you up in them 50s, and a lot of us are. I mean, things start to get the aching and breaking down, but let me tell you, I am with some phenomenal women who's a lot older than me, but guess what? They doing way better than I'm doing right now, and I'm trying to catch them. That's how good these products are. And some of y'all out there know exactly what I'm talking about. So when you're talking about the Phyllis Nashes, the Patricia Van Pelt, and Dr. Rita McGuire, I don't even know how these women do all the things they do every day. But guess what? When I get to their age, I want to supersede them, okay? So that is my testimony. I am still here today, not on any physical medicines or prescribed medicines from a doctor, but I am taking my products faithfully because I know what they're doing for me. And I will live. I will be able to leave a legacy for my family and for my kids. So that's my testimony, y'all. I'm getting you back.
Thank you so much. And Kathy is, I think that's Kathy Kirk. I keep muting you out, dear. I had to move you off. I think your microphone keeps coming live, babe. So if you can just mute yourself out, Kathy. Yep, there you go. You're off now. Awesome. Wonderful. Give it up for Tracy. And listen, guys, so they were all working last night. And I said, listen, we need another crew to come in today because of all the sales. And so she was like, well, I want to work my business. I said, guess what? Y'all can come to work and we're going to have a party for y'all. So this party is for them. This is the reason why last night I got out of bed at 2 a.m. to work on all this because of Tracy. So Tracy, Shawana, y'all rock. And I love you guys. So you guys So let's move to.
They love you too. They back here working hard. They love you too.
Love them back. I know Gigi's out there too. So Gigi, we want to bring you up too. We're celebrating your business today, dear. Gigi's is one of those people, guys. She's pushing. She is a sneeze away from Ruby. She's out in Texas. Sometimes when you guys are in different states, you feel alone. And we want to support you in all capacities. We can't wait to have facilities in your state so we can really support you. But Gigi, we're gonna bring you up real quick. If you can share with everyone before we continue. Let's see, where you at, Gigi? Take your camera off.
Oh, I can deal with a hat, but
I can hear you, Phyllis. Let's see here. 1 second. Gigi, where you at?
Here I am.
Okay, there you
can't
are.
see me?
I'll put you on camera 1 second. We can see you, but I gotta spotlight you. Let me spotlight you. There you are. We see you now.
Hello, everyone. Hopefully everyone is doing great. I am doing fantastic. I'm excited about Wakana, but what I'm most excited about is these 4 phenomenal women that had the courage to put this opportunity together in order for us to have a piece of this industry. That is one of the things that I was hoping that we was able to do, and it is going, not always smooth, but at the end, it's always worth it. And the one thing I love too, not only what the ladies are being able to do, but I love their passion that they're willing to help anyone to succeed. And as well as giving into the community, they are always having an open heart to be able to give the community some of what they're making or doing to help individuals. I'm looking also I know that they're feeding people during the holiday season, so I'm excited about that. And I'm also excited about the products. The products are amazing, and my heart fills up every time I hear about somebody that's going through some health issues. They end up coming off off the medication, because we know that those medications is only chemicals, and there's always side effects behind those medications. I just happen to be an individual that I've never been on permanent medication at all, not in my life. And I guess it came because I always been in an area where I was always conscious about my health, and I never believed everything that the doctor says. And for that, I can say, I'm at the age that I am right now. I work out at least 3-4 times a week. And if I have a pain that comes somewhere in my shoulder, my knees, or whatever, the Wakana products work. The topical works. And I can't say enough about being in a wellness and health industry. It's always keeping you at a point where you're conscious about what are you doing with your body, what are you doing with the temple, how are you eating. And my mentor, Melissa Boston, has been phenomenal getting me back on track when I fell off, because, I'm enjoying, the way I look right now, but it's been, hey, I had to come back from where I was, because life takes on a dimension that causes you to fall off the cliff, because you have so many things that happen in your life. And I've been motivated to stay on track. Also, I've been motivated to help whoever. If you in 10 feet of me, you're going to hear about Wakana. If I'm on the telephone, you're going to hear about Wakana. And my family called me the chief director for CDC because I am so particular about trying to keep COVID away from me and my family and my friends. But I must say, with these products that we have, we just got to share, with our community and let them know that there's another way that you can live, the best part of your life. And hey, I give, thanks to, my mentor, Melissa Boston, Phyllis Nash. She keep us moving. She don't ask us to do things that she's not willing to do. So she works very hard. Dr. Rita keep us educated, on medical conditions. Also, what the cannabis plant can help assist you with, and then, Dr. Pat, she does, the same thing, helping us to come up with ideas, how we can create wealth, how we can sell it to, other people. And, I'm just excited. I'm excited about health, wealth, the legacy, and the freedom. So, hey guys, if you are looking at this opportunity for the first time, believe me, you will not regret it. You will not regret it if you, come on board with us. It's a mission. We got to get the information out. We got to educate our community so they can understand better, not only be able to take care of their bodies, but also be able to put some money in the bank. We don't have to just count pennies. All right. So let's do it. Thank you so much, Melissa, for having me on. Thank you for all that you do. Hey, I could see last night, when I got up to go to to the restroom that you was working 2:30 in the morning. I see on the flyer, 5:30, I see another flyer, 10:30, I see another. I'm like, oh my gosh. Hey, can't nobody outwork you, baby. Thank you.
I'm so proud of you, Gigi. Give it up for Gigi, ladies and gentlemen. Gigi's going Ruby, girl. You got it.
Thank you.
You're gonna get there. She's determined. I love determined people. She didn't even know we were having a party for her till she woke up. I said, "You having a party?"
I know, right?
Got to get you to Ruby. Okay, guys. So we are excited. Now we're going to get into just a little bit more about the company, and then I'm going to bring up our next featured presenter, which is Kathy Weathersby, who this is her big women empowerment launch today as well. And so we talked a little bit, about the cannabis industry in general, but let's look at why Wakana. Obviously, we have a very innovative business model where we're bringing you in on the wealth. In fact, towards the end of this presentation, you're going to hear about our founders program, where we take 1% of our revenue and we share it with our founders. Why is that disruptive? Because it's putting people in a position where even if maybe your family and friends aren't going to follow you and build with you, you can have a piece of our success. We want you to win. And so we consider this a very innovative business model, a ground floor opportunity in the fastest and the most biggest emerging industry on the planet. Our headquarters, are right here in Chicago, Illinois. A satellite office over in the United Kingdom. How exciting is that? So we're excited about our global expansion as we go into other countries around the world. We're organically grown, we're full panel tested, and that means a lot. There's a lot of CBD on the marketplace. What makes our product different? Most companies aren't willing to test the product for everything. Most of them will test it for CBD, they'll test it for THC, but they're not gonna test it to see if there's pesticides and microbes and cadmium and all the things that we don't want in there. We test it. Why? Because we know that your health is precious and we have to deliver the best. And so just know that when you shop Wakana, you're shopping with a product that you can trust. And then of course we have the Wakanapreneur opportunity. Are the dispensaries here in Chicago and across the country offering you a chance to make money as a business owner, right? And they won't even oftentimes give us jobs at the dispensary. And so this is a way we can take control of our own health. And then a proven track record. If you look at the owners of Wakana, there's 4 of us. You're gonna meet another one of them tonight. And we actually have another 60 plus owners that actually also early on, we opened it up to allow the people who are here with Wakana to own a piece of it. Then we also have founders. So there's a lot of people tied into the success, but there are 4 of us that are co-founders. And if you look at the success of the 4 of us, we have over 100 years combined experience in the home-based business arena. And we've consulted with multi-billion-dollar brands collectively. We have sales in the hundreds of millions of dollars, a proven track record, not just in home-based business, but in the cannabis arena. We've helped empower more than 7,000 minorities to join the cannabis CBD space. And then if you look at our track record, sorry, I think somebody had their phone on. I'm hearing myself talk somewhere. But if you look at our track record and our revenue, even during the midst of a pandemic, think about how many businesses shut their doors down and to have record growth in the midst of a pandemic. In fact, this month is officially our biggest month ever, okay? We're so excited as we're forging through to our first $1 million month. And it's just exciting to see that this movement has become a reality. And if you look at even some of the months, we want to pick them out and just isolate so that you can kind of see what's happening. Last year when there was no pandemic, now you look at this year when there's a pandemic to see that we grew over 162% in growth. And our mission statement is to inspire people to move into this legal space of cannabis CBD as entrepreneurs, formulators, investors, evoking the courage and strength of people to take back their health, wealth, legacy, and freedom. In fact, we want to help you unleash your inner cannabis. You might have a different desire when you partner with Wakana. Shannon's a perfect example. She started as a Wakanapreneur, and now she's actually ventured off into Canna Entice, which is her own brand, and she takes our product and infuse them and actually does different catering events. So that's another stream of income she's built into her Wakana product lines. And obviously this cannabis movement is real. We have the 2018 farm bill that makes this opportunity today legal across all 50 states, this is the time. The cannabis industry is booming from illegal to now essential. If you look at CBD revenue, now in 2020, here we are, well over 5 billion. Look what happened in 2019. And now in 2024, over $20 billion. If we can keep the lines muted, please, who is that? Let's do that, guys. Somebody needs to mute out. I'm hearing your conversation. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, ground floor opportunity. When you think about even the revenue that we're bringing in. So we're excited to be here with you at the right place, at the right time. And so now to tell you about what is CBD. And so this is my partner in crime, Exactly. I think there we are. Gotcha. So here to tell us all about what is CBD, she is literally someone who's not only a business partner, but someone who's really became just such a dear friend and a family member. Literally, we literally travel before COVID, I would stay at her place, she would stay at my place. I mean, our husbands are great friends. And so we just have gotten so close. Really appreciate her because she also came on board on the corporate side because she's got a strong financial background. So she's our VP of finance, but she's also a microbiologist because that's what she studied in college. And so she's one of the most brilliant people that I know when it comes to the science behind how things work. Kathy, I know you're pushing as well. So this is your grand opening also. So you have all these folks that showed up for you. And I am so excited to introduce you to present this next part and to share with everyone, what is CBD? Take it away.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Listen, I feel like Gigi said, this is an empowering event. You four ladies are so empowering. You brought together your individual skills and you brought this company together to empower minorities and women to get into the cannabis space. And guys, we're just so blessed to be here. But, just thinking about what Dr. Allen talked about with CBD and with the endocannabinoid system, CBD actually stands for cannabidiol. It's a compound that naturally occurs in hemp, and it's the part that doesn't get you high. So you get the health without the high. So it's not like the THC part. But now Wakana really does have that third-party testing like Melissa talked about. We are completely compliant with the State Department regulations and with the 2018 Farm Bill. And so those products are exactly what you're looking for. It's really, guys, about learning and unlearning. You see, we all know about THC and it gives you the giggles, it gives you the munchies, it actually activates the pleasure centers in your brain and has a psychoactive effect that you're familiar with, creates that high. But CBD doesn't do any of that. It doesn't give you that high, but it does interact with those centers of the brain that connect with pain and perception and nausea and anxiety. And listen, that's what a lot of us deal with. I have arthritis and people are dealing with anxiety all over the place. Now, see, this is a similar chart that Melissa showed you earlier that shows you that column in that CBD area that actually, and we're going to try to mute that person out, that column in the CBD area that shows there's so many more health benefits that you get from that CBD. And so this is the ECS system that Dr. Allen talked about. You can see these receptors are all over your body. It's just waiting for cannabinoids to connect into the receptor. You've got receptors in your brain, in your heart, in your lungs, your teeth, your stomach, your skin, your bowels, your kidneys, your liver, all over the place. This is our product line. You'll see that you've got culinary oil, as well as hand and surface sanitizer, first defense system to help you boost your immune system, our power pain products, our gummies, as well as our tinctures. This is a better picture of our culinary line showing those delicious spices. Guys, these spices are so good and they work so well and they're so popular. We put them this time last year on the website just as a seasonal thing. Guess what? We can't get them off of the site and they're still there. You can infuse your favorite beverage. This is a Cosmo infused with our water soluble. You can do brownies. I just did some the other day. shrimp tacos. This is great with one of our chili lime seasonings. You also can infuse or diffuse is what I meant, our essential oils to keep your environment more healthy. We also have our hair product. Our hemp powered hair product is one that I use every other day in my spray bottle and to keep my locks healthy. This hemp powered hair product is really, really good. You can see it's a demonstrable product because you can see here before and after pictures showing how it took this man's hair from thinning to thickening. I mean, literally, you can see that there. Thicker beards, that's popular these days. You want to have a healthy beard. And oh my God, I can't wait till I get this. This is our body oil, our oud body oil. It is an experience that will make you smell great. Then we've got our relief pack. Now, this is something that I bought 2 of because just like Tracy was talking about, just like Shannon was talking about, I too deal with pain. And this is the best value that I have seen. Oh my God, you've got a pre-roll in there, which is smokable hemp. Here's one of those. Then you've got the gummies that are in there. You've got the bottle of gummies right here that's in there. You've got the roller ball of the relief. You've got the tincture on the tongue and the cream. So you got everything that you need to get relief from any kind of discomfort that you have. So here's a disclaimer that I wanted to, I forgot about that. Oh, I thought I saw that go by. So the Royal Defense Kit is another special you need to know about. Listen, if you don't want to have anything to do with CBD, you definitely want to guard against COVID. Gigi talked about that. I'm a stickler for that as well. This has got everything that you need to boost your defense system against COVID. The hand sanitizer, the mask, the surface cleaner, and the produce cleaner. You got everything that you need right there. It is COVID safe, COVID exterminating. This disclaimer, I want you to take a look at. This just talks about the 0.3% of THC being the legal limit in our power products. And those of you that are subject to random drug screens, you're going to want to use our pure line of products that have the white label that is going to have the THC removed. We also have a smokable product, our vapes and our flower and our pre-rolls. There's a ban on those in Louisiana, North Carolina, Kentucky, and Indiana. If you're over the age of 21, those are available for you. The best thing about our products, guys, is that they work. Those are real results for real people. You can visit our website and see. They're doctor recommended. And to have doctors to put our products in conjunction with traditional medicine in their practices is important. This is a list of doctors that goes from our chief medical officer as an OB-GYN to Natasha Gedding, she mentioned earlier, who is an adult and child psychologist, as well as Joy Smith, who is a pharmacist. Then you have we have general practitioner. We have Erica, Tyus Crawford, who's a general practitioner, Erica Montgomery, who's a psychologist, as well as our chiropractor, Dr. Glass. And as Melissa mentioned, you want to shop Wakana because we give you premium products, affordable prices. You have a 30-day money-back guarantee. Our products are full panel, third-party tested, again, with the highest quality. Our ingredients are organically grown, and we give back to communities. Gigi mentioned that our CEO and our CSO actually went down to Lake Charles, Louisiana to help out the hurricane victims. And in the local community, so much more feeding during the holidays. Listen, we want to make sure this is affordable. We have 20 plus products under $50 and more than 10 products under $20.
Wow, Kathy, that was awesome. Thank you.
And actually, you probably heard my doorbell. I've got a customer that just came to my door to pick up their products.
Oh, well, this is perfect timing. That was give it up for Kathy. That was awesome, Kathy. You do so amazing when you talk about the products. We just appreciate your knowledge. And now we're going to bring up our Chief Sales Officer. She is our very first diamond. She is the midwife here at Wakana, helping us all to give birth to unlimited dreams and possibilities. We talk about the fact that in this type of business, it's not just friends. We become family. And this is someone who truly has became family to me. Phyllis, just love you so much. So proud of all that you're doing for Wakana Nation. If you can go ahead and show them the money.
Show them the money. Hi, everybody. Well, I'm excited to be here. And now, do you know that the social selling or the MLM or direct selling, whatever you want to call it, it's a $16.5 million, $35.4 billion industry, but 16.5 million people in the US are involved. And as I'm sitting here doing this presentation or listening to you guys, my phone is going off the charts. We haven't even finished this, but someone said, hey, I love what you guys are doing. I want a private meeting. I got so many other people I want to share this with. So guys, I'm saying that to say, this is something that everybody needs to be thinking and looking at and hearing, really getting what we're sharing right here today. So normally there are 3 types of people on the line. If you're a guest, you're either one of these 3. Either you're number 1, someone that's a customer. And so what we recommend you do is go right to the person that invited you and order the products that you want to try. We got some phenomenal savings right now, 25% on the website. Or number 2, you might want to host a party for that person that invited you, have a Jamaican night, you get free product. That's a person number 2. And a person number 3 is someone that says, hey, I want to get started in this cannabis industry. Been wondering how that could happen. So here it is, here at Wakana. There are 7 ways to earn income, you guys. 7 ways. And so our first way is, I think they're,
I got it. Here we go. Try it again. If you are Karan, hey Karan, how you doing? Can you mute yourself out? It won't let me mute you. I'm gonna have to put you in the waiting room real quick. You'll come back. So mute yourself out, Karan. I'll let you back in, but I put you in the waiting room if you can mute. Okay. All right, so let's go to the next one.
Okay, 7 ways to get paid. And how about that? Here, our first getting started in our company is our full crown jewel dispensary. This is by far our best value. You're going to get $1,500 in retail product. You're going to get a party plan pack because we have fun. You might want to do a party. You're going to get your broker's activation key, 2 vouchers into Wakana University. You're going to be paid as a sapphire for your first 6 months. And if you share this with someone and they get started as a full crown jewel owner, you're going to get paid $200. Now, guys, this is paid down through 7 levels. So you're going to earn anywhere from $200 all the way down to $2. And here, these are the invitations to the party plan. You get everything you need right here in the kit. You even get scripts to be able to invite. So you can have a puff party, a infused party, any kind of party that you want to have with your friends launching your new business. So you also, that's going to be included is that admission into Wakana University. See, that's key because we don't invite you just into the business, but you also have a way to get wealthy in the business. Social media marketing, the comp plan, you get to learn how to build a customer base, money in edibles, cannabis investing, CBD 101 and compliance. And if you don't, if $9.98 isn't something you think you can do right now, you have your cannabis, the millennial pack or the stimulus pack. That comes with $200 in retail product. You also get the broker's license. You get entrance into Wakana University, only 1, and you're paid down 7 levels, anywhere from $40 to $4. Now, the website. You know how do you become wealthy? They say when you're making money in your sleep, that means it's a good sign that you could be wealthy. And so with these products, you've heard how great they are. Your website is open 24/7. People can go right to that website, order the product, and the company is going to fulfill the order, and you're going to earn 20 to 50%. You get free shipping with orders, it says over $75. But during this pandemic, we have lowered that to $50. You have affordable, natural, and organic products. You don't hear those two words in the same sentence often. Now, as you bring people and introduce people and they want to be business partners, when they sell on their website, they're going to earn that 20 to 50%. But if you introduce them, you're going to earn 15% down. And then it goes all the way down 7 levels. So again, you're going to be able to create leverage. Leverage creates wealth. Now, why would you say yes to Wakana? Well, I'm not going to even worry about the no side. Let's deal with the yes side. We have the best customer support. You have shared revenue. You have a willable business that you can leave to your heirs. Unlimited income potential, being your own boss, and more time with family and friends. We have also a balanced compensation plan. So now to recap, we have 3 ways to get started. By far, our best value is our full crown jewel dispensary at $998. And then you have the millennial or stimulus pack that always also comes with the party pack. That's $219. And then for those that have some issues right now, maybe financial issues, you might not be able to do either of those other 2. Well, we here at Wakana don't want to leave anyone behind. We have a 30-day trial test drive where you can send people to that website. They make orders, and you're going to get paid anywhere from 20 to 50%. But what happens after day 30 means you have to at least upgrade or at least pay for certification. Now, guys, this is our Super Bowl of the year. We open up our company to have founders, and we do this only in May. And what does that mean to be a founder? It means that you can share in 1% of our gross income, our gross revenue. Do you hear me? Gross. Before bills are paid, before anybody is paid, you get paid. And so how do you do that? Well, for people that are hearing this for the first time, or for those of you that have started with Wakana with a free site, a millennial pack, a personal pack, or a stimulus pack, then you can become a founder at $1,699.95. Guys, this is only going to be good through Monday night, Cyber Monday. It goes away. No more opportunity to get that in this year. And then if you've already been in the business, perhaps having bought a founder's pack last year or a crown jewel, you're eligible to purchase that founder's pack for $849.95. Now, these packs come with some of our phenomenal products, our best-selling products. And so in that $16.99 pack, you're going to get, in the $7.99 pack, you're going to get half of what you get in the $16.99. But how better does it get? I'll tell you, it does get better. Because once you spend that $16.99, you're going to immediately get $200 cash back. That means that's taking that to $14.99. Then you're going to get $200 in loyalty points. Loyalty points means you can go on your website and use those 200 loyalty points. That brings that pack down to $12.99. And so then if you introduce people into it, you're also going to be paid for them getting started with that, down 7 levels of people coming into the business. Now that seems like, oh my God, I wish I had known already. I would have had my friends together. But you see how Melissa said we got started. I didn't know until this morning when I woke up and saw a flyer that we were doing this, but we know how to pivot. And when I hear a deal like this, I would get on the phone and call everybody I know, get the person that invited me on the line and say, hey, I need you to do a presentation for these people because I know my friends want to be a founder in a cannabis company that's going to the moon. And so guys, don't let it be said, oh, it's Monday and this is Sunday night. Hey, do what you need to do to share in this wealth. Next slide. And so we are the crown jewel of CBD. And just remember, definitely get back to the person that invited you if you are a guest and let them know if you are number 1, someone that wants to be a customer, try those phenomenal products. Or if you have a number 2, you want to host a party and, get product by doing that for your friend. Or a number 3, you want to get that founders pack or however else you want to get started here at Wakana. We're waiting with open arms. Back to you, Melissa.
Wow, Phyllis, I had to take a picture real quick of this beautiful crowd. This is exciting. Give it up for Phyllis, because that was off the chain, Phyllis. I love it. You are so amazing. And that was just wants me to buy. I can't even buy anymore. And here's what's crazy, guys. We are co-founders of the company, right? But all the rules apply the same for everyone. So we don't just get the shares because we're co-founders. We had to buy the pack. And when you have co-founders, right? Owners of a company who, Phyllis, how many packs do you have now? You have 3 shares, right? 3. I have, like, has 3. That tells you better pay attention to something. Because here's what I said. I said, listen, there's going to be no way, Phyllis, that we look up in, like, let's say 3 to 5 years when the founding pack is over, nobody else can do it, and we sit around and had 1 share, and then we see people who came behind us and they're just killing it. We said, we can't do that to ourselves. So we called our family, our friends. We said, everybody needs to do this, guys, because it's a really big deal to be able to share. So that was awesome, amazing. Oh my God, glad you guys stayed for the whole 2 hours. I said, when we do a 2-hour event, you never know what's gonna happen, but you guys are here. Hopefully you got something out of this. Hopefully the guests, you're ready to get some products. Maybe you have some questions. Let's do some 3-ways. If you have some guests, we wanna hear those 3 ways so we can answer your questions and let you get started tonight. Hopefully as a founding member, right? That's the only way to start, right? If you really
That's right.
So with that said, guys, we got about a few minutes. If anybody has anything, they're just making comments. So a question, we got a question, great. We have some time, so we can do some questions. Yes, go ahead and answer or ask your question. Is that CJ?
Yes, it is. Good evening. Happy Sunday, everyone. I want to thank Natalie for giving me the invitation just literally today. So thank you so very much for that, Natalie. My question has to do with the CBD being applied topically, it sounds like. And I do have someone that has a medical condition of tuberous sclerosis, which is in the sclerosis family. It causes tumors that grow on the inside as well as the outside, and it impedes the major organs. And so it sounds like I can have someone administer this so then they can not have to take all these medications, because one of the things that causes is seizures.
Wow, let's get our doctor team on the line. I think Dr. Natasha might still be there.
Thank you.
Is Dr. Rita there?
I don't see Dr. Rita.
Oh, where are you at, Dr. Rita? I'm trying to find you. So we have a phenomenal medical group who probably will be able to answer that question for you. With any condition, you always want to check with your doctor. Our topicals obviously don't go through the blood-brain barrier, so it's going to work more locally. And so, but with the advice of your doctor, I know we'll find a great resolution. And if Dr. Rita or Dr. Natasha is there,
I saw Dr. Rita.
Might have a baby to deliver. I knew today she's got a tight schedule, so she might be gone. Any other doctors who are on our medical team, if you're on, we got a great question. We want to answer it correctly for you, so we want to get the best of the best. But I love that you're on. You said Natalie invited you?
Yeah.
Natalie. Yes, Natalie Carver.
Oh, Carver. Okay, gotcha. So Natalie. Okay, wonderful. And so anybody who's familiar with that specific.
Dr. Joy, do you know? No.
But we'll get that answered for you, dear, okay? In fact, can you go ahead and write down this email? It's Rita, MD.
I see Dr. Crawford on.
Oh, Dr. Crawford?
Dr. Crawford, can you hear us?
Let's see.
I'm sorry, I'm out with my baby.
Hello.
This is Dr. Joy.
Oh, Dr. Joy's out with her baby. That's good.
But was the question about whether our products could help with this particular sclerosis that her family member or friend was dealing with? Or I kind of missed some of it.
Correct. Correct. So this is called tuberous sclerosis, and it's in the sclerosis family. It causes tumors that grow inwardly as well as outwardly. It impedes the organs, and it causes seizures. And so it's actually my daughter, my youngest daughter, and she's been on it since she was literally like a baby. And so throughout the year, she's been on all kinds of medications. And right now she's taking 4 different medications. And so I just wanted to know if she could start using the CBD topically, as well as taking the drops. I heard a few testimonies about the rheumatoid arthritis and also the carpal tunnel. And I wanted to know if she could start, taking some of the products, CBD.
Well, thank you for sharing your story, first of all. I think one of the major things to keep in mind is that we are not claiming that CBD will cure or treat anything, but will definitely help with some of the symptoms. So if you're talking about the topical, I'm assuming that pain is a major symptom of the tuberous sclerosis. I'm not as familiar with that condition, but what I do know is using the topical, using the tincture and the gummies in combination is really going to help to keep that CBD in the system for a consistent amount of time. And once that CBD is in the system and continuing to circulate, it once one product is wearing off, the other one is gearing up to work. So it's allowing that CBD to continually circulate and address those symptoms and those issues, i.e. the seizures, i.e. the tumors that are continuing to grow. So it will address those symptoms and help with that relief. I would definitely contact the doctor and make sure that none of her medications are interacting with the CBD. And if they are, space them out about 2 to 4 hours from the time that the CBD is taken.
I'd like to say something also.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much, Dr.
Not a
Joy.
problem. And there are tons of articles. If you just go to your favorite search engine, PubMed, even Google Scholar sometimes, CBD and you'll begin to see some of the research that's coming out about CBD and different medical conditions. But it's really, really astounding how much CBD helps with so many different conditions that we weren't even aware of.
Thank you, Dr. Joy. Yeah, we have a great medical support team. So any questions, guys, you can always get it to our team. You can also always send an email to RitaMD@Wakana. But Dr. Joy is just amazing. Thank you for taking a moment to answer that question.
Also, I'd just like to say something that we need to remember is that your doctor works for you. A lot of times we think that, that we go to the doctor and we're expecting them to tell us everything. Share your concerns with your doctor. Take your product to them and let them know that this is something that you'd like to try. And if they're not educated about it, it's their job to get educated because you're working in conjunction with your doctor to get the best treatment that you can get. So.
Yeah, that's a good point because a lot of doctors really haven't studied CBD at all. So they have no clue of how amazing it could be. And so it's always good to talk to them about it and hopefully they'll do their own research. So that's great. Any other questions since we have about another 2 minutes left? Any other questions?
I don't have a question, but I definitely have to say something. Hi, it's Kimberly Dawson. I just want to thank Melissa Boston, who brought me into the business and invited me here today. I met Melissa and Phyllis over 10 years ago and was in business with them and will always be in business with them because of the integrity of these two young ladies. They introduced me to Dr. Rita and Dr. Pat, who I totally love, and Kathy Weathersby, who's always available. Thank you so much, Kathy, for that message. I'm going to talk to you later on after today. I signed up, Melissa, a year ago next month, racing to a cruise for New Year's Eve and just jumped into the business and just been sitting on it, actually. Came in as a crown jewel and needed restarting. And today you guys have truly outdone yourself. I'm here, I'm back. I am going to definitely get to work here on the West Coast. Always in my hometown of Cleveland, Ohio. I got to get this thing going. I'm gonna get down there with you, Kathy, in South Carolina, where I'm building my forever home. Ladies, you guys, this is amazing. And just for, the girl power, you ladies are true leaders. I love you, Phyllis. True leaders. And it's certainly there's other women in the in this company that I met through the Pink Rush. The Pink Rush, let's just get to that. This is my third Pink Rush. I came to the first one and the second one. The first one, I was blown away. I've been around MLM, network marketing, whatever you want to call it, possibly my whole life. My mother started her first business in 1960 something. It was, something about Beeline clothes, Beeline. And she's been in and out, never really did much with it. But because of my personality, I'm a true people person. And I know you guys can hear it in my voice. I'm hyper as hell. But anyway, and I just love people. I'm a true people person. Yeah. So and I've been in and out of this industry for the last 25 years and had some good mentors, but just never the connection that I have with these ladies. And so I'm looking forward to it. I had to say something. Me and my business partner for life, Ms. Doris Mosley, who jumped on the call a little later. I'm hoping Doris is still on. You guys mentioned her earlier on in the presentation, but it's time to get started. I'm going to get started. So look out for my calls, Melissa, Kathy, Phyllis. I need to get with you guys. Wakana for life.
That's exciting, Kim.
I'm so excited, Kim.
Go, Kim.
Kim should be at least at Emerald by now. So I am happy and excited. This got you motivated, girl.
Well, girl, let me tell you, you got more than 24 hours to get a group on, so Melissa can do a presentation so you can have a bunch of new founders in your business by tomorrow night.
Look at them. You see what they doing? Planting those seeds. That's what they do. I love it.
That's right. That's right. Emerald by Monday.
Yes. That's
Kathy, I want to talk to you later on, please, ma'am.
Guys, that's what this is. It's called running through the tape. When I was talking, I believe it was Shawana and Tracy, we were looking at their numbers, and in their mind, they're thinking, oh, well, that's going to happen next month. But it's like, guys, listen, the month's not over. So as long as you don't stop pushing, you never know what's going to happen. Things happen at that last hour just because you're faithful to not stopping. There's something that is rewarded in the universe by people that just refuse to stop, that just keep moving, keep going. And that's us. And that's all right. Because you're always called at the last minute. I found out about this and we passed it out. So give you all a round of applause and let's go to the next rank, guys. Let's commit to that. If you're at Pearl, you can still go Sapphire. Just believe, okay? There's power in just belief. Just believe. Yes. But you got to work though, right? Faith without work is dead. So we got to get to work. So let's do some more parties, okay?
Awesome. Great. Thank you.
Everybody,
thank you guys. And I know what that means. That's our she calls me the mama bear, but that's our other mama bear. I'm the mama cub. She's the mama bear. Because that means let's go do some 3 waves. Right. That's what that means.
I got text saying this is awesome. Let's do it. Let's go to work.
Let's do it, right?
All right.
Love you guys.
The phone is blowing up, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
It's time, y'all. Go to work, get a 1, 2, or 3, get some new people, do some more presentations. Let's do this thing. Blow up Cyber Monday.
Yes. Let's do it. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.